Hey guys, so today I'll be reading you guys the second half of chapter 10 of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. The rain kept coming down. We got restless, waiting for the bus, and decided to play some hacky sack with one of Grover's apples. Annabeth was unbelievable. She could bounce the apple off her knee, her elbow, her shoulder, whatever. I wasn't too bad myself. The game ended when I tossed the apple toward Grover and it got too close to his mouth. In one mega goat bite, our hacky sack disappeared, core, stem, and all. Grover blushed. He tried to apologize, but Annabeth and I were too busy cracking up. Finally, the bus came. As we stood in line to board, Grover started looking around, sniffing the air like he smelled his favorite school cafeteria delicacy, enchiladas. "What is it?" I asked. "I don't know," he asked tensely. "Maybe it's nothing." But I could tell it wasn't nothing. I started looking over my shoulder too. I was relieved when we finally got on board and found seats together in the back of the bus. We stowed our backpacks. Annabeth kept slapping her Yankee cap nervously against her thighs. As the last passengers got on, Annabeth clamped her hand onto my knee. "Percy." An old lady had just boarded the bus. She wore a crumpled velvet dress, lace gloves, and a shapeless orange knit that shadowed her face. She carried a big paisley purse. When she tilted her head up, her black eyes glittered, and my heart skipped a beat. It was Mrs. Dodds, older, more withered, but definitely the same evil face. I scrunched down on my seat. Behind her came two more old ladies, one in a green hat and one in a purple hat. Otherwise, they looked exactly like Miss Dodds. Some gnarled hands, paisley handbags, wrinkled velvet dresses. Triplet demon grandmothers. They sat in the front row right behind the driver. The two on the aisle crossed their legs over the walkway, making an X. It was casual enough, but it sent a clear message. Nobody leaves. The bus pulled out of the station, and we headed through the slick streets of Manhattan. "She didn't stay dead long," I said, trying to keep my voice from quivering. "I thought you said they could be dispelled for a lifetime." "I said if you're lucky," Annabeth said. "You're obviously not." "All three of them," Grover whimpered. "The immortals." "It's okay," Annabeth said, obviously thinking hard. "The Furies. The three worst monsters from the underworld. No problem, no problem. We'll just slip out the window." "They don't open," Grover moaned. "A back exit," she suggested. There wasn't one. Even if there had been, it wouldn't have helped. By that time, we were on Ninth Avenue, heading for the Lincoln Tunnel. "They won't attack us with witnesses around," I said. "Will they?" "Mortals don't have good eyes," Annabeth reminded me. "Their brains can only process what they see through the mist. They'll see three old ladies killing us, won't they?" She thought about it. "Hard to say, but we can't count on mortals for help. Maybe an emergency exit in the roof." We hit the Lincoln Tunnel, and the bus went dark except for the running lights down the aisle. It was eerily quiet without a sound of the rain. Miss Dodds got up in a flat voice as if she rehearsed it. She announced to the whole bus, "I need to use the restroom." "So do I," said the sister. "So do I," said the third sister. They all started coming down the aisle. "I've got it." Annabeth said, "Percy, take my hat." "What?" "You're the one they want. Turn invisible and go up the aisle. Let them pass you. Maybe you can get to the front and get away. But you guys, there's an outside chance they might not notice us. You're a son of one of the big three. Your smell might be overpowering." "I can't just leave you." "Don't worry about us," Grover said. "Go." My hands trembled. I felt like a coward, but I took the Yankees cap and put it on. When I looked down, my body wasn't there anymore. I started creeping up the aisle. I managed to get up 10 rows, then duck into an empty seat just as the Furies walked past. Miss Dodds stopped sniffing, looked straight at me. My heart was pounding. Apparently, she didn't see anything. She and her sisters kept going. I was free. I made it to the front of the bus. We were almost through the Lincoln Tunnel. I was about to press the emergency stop button when I heard hideous wailing from the back row. The old ladies were not old ladies anymore. Their faces were the same. I guess they couldn't get uglier, but their bodies had shriveled into leathery brown hag bodies with bat wings and hands and feet like gargoyle claws. Their handbags had turned into fiery whips. The Fury surrounded Grover and the bitch, lashing their whips, hissing, "Where is it? Where?" The other people on the bus were screaming, cowering in their seats. They saw something, all right. "He's not here," Annabeth yelled. "He's gone." The Furies raised their whips. Annabeth drew her bronze knife. Grover grabbed a tin can from his snack bag and prepared to throw up. What I did next was so impulsive and dangerous. I should have named ADHD Poster Child of the Year. The bus driver was distracted, trying to see what was going on in his rear view mirror. Still invisible, I grabbed the wheel from him and jerked it to the left. Everybody howled as they were thrown to the right, and I heard what I hope was the sound of the three Furies smashing against the window. Hey, the driver yelled. Hey, whoa. We wrestled for the wheel. The bus slammed against the side of the tunnel, grinding metal, throwing sparks a mile behind us. We careered out of the Lincoln Tunnel and back into the rainstorm. People and monsters tossed around the bus. Cars plowed aside like bowling pins. Somehow the driver found an exit. We shot off the highway through half a dozen traffic lights and ended up barreling down one of the New Jersey ru- ru- rural roads where you can't believe there's so much nothing across the river from New York. There were woods to our left, the Hudson River to our right, and the driver seemed to be veering towards the river. Another great idea. I hit the emergency brake. The bus wailed, spun a full circle on the wet tar, and crashed into the trees. The emergency lights came on. The doors flew open. The bus driver was the first one out, the passengers yelling as they stampeded after them. I stepped into the driver's seat and let them pass. The Furies regained their balance. They lashed their whips at Annabeth while she waved her knife and yelled in ancient Greek, telling them to back off. Grover threw tin cans. I looked at the open doorway. I was free to go, but I couldn't leave my friends. I took off the invisible cap. Hey, the Furies turned, bearing their yellow fangs at me. The exit suddenly sounded like an excellent idea. Miss Dawes stalked up the aisle just as she used to do in class, about to deliver my F minus maths test. Every time she flickered her whip, red flames danced along the barred leather. Her two ugly sisters hopped on top of the seats on either side of her and crawled toward me like huge, nasty lizards. Percy Jackson, Miss Dodds said, in an accent that was definitely from somewhere further south than Georgia. You have offended the gods. You shall die. I liked you better as a math teacher, I told her. She growled. Annabeth and Grover moved up behind the Furies cautiously, looking for an opening. I took the ballpoint pen out of a pocket and uncapped it. Riptide elongated into a shimmering double-edged sword. The Furies hesitated. Miss Dodds had felt Riptide's blade before. She obviously didn't like seeing it again. Submit now, she hissed, and you will not suffer eternal torment. Nice try, I told her. Percy, look out, Annabeth cried. Miss Dodge lashed her whip around my sword hand while the Furies on either side lunged at me. My hands felt like it was wrapped in molten lead, but I managed not to drop Riptide. I struck the Fury on the left with his hilt, sending her toppling backwards into his seat. I turned and sliced the Fury on the right. As soon as the blade connected with her neck, she screamed and exploded into dust. Annabeth got Miss Dodds in wrestler's hold and yanked her backwards while Grover ripped the whip out of her hands. Ow, he yelled. Ow, hot, hot. The Fury I hill slammed came at me again, talons ready, but I swung Riptide and she broke open like a piñata. Miss Dodds was trying to get Annabeth off her back. She kicked, clawed, hissed, and bit, but Annabeth held on while Grover got Miss Diggs' legs tied up in her own whip. Finally, they both shoved her backwards into the aisle. Miss Dodds tried to get up, but she didn't have enough room to flap her bat wings, so she kept falling down. Zeus will destroy you, she promised. Hades will have your soul. Brachus Miss Vescimi, I yelled. I wasn't sure where the Latin came from. I think it meant eat my pants. Thunder shook the bus. The hair rose on the back of my neck. Get out, Annabeth yelled at me. Now. I didn't need any encouragement. We rushed outside and found other passengers wandering around in the daze, arguing with the driver or running around in circles yelling, We're going to die! A Hawaiian shirt tourist with the camera snapped my photograph before I could recount my story. Our bags, Grover realized. We left our... Boom! The windows of the bus exploded as the passengers ran for cover. Lightning shredded with a huge crater in the roof, but an angry wail from inside told me Miss Dodds was not dead. Run, Anderson said. She's calling for reinforcements. We have to get out of here. We plunged into the woods as the rain poured down, the bus in flames behind us, and nothing but darkness ahead. So, I'm just gonna read you guys the 10th chapter of Percy Jackson. So, thank you.